Welcome to Sharper Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the show that makes the squares sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined, as always, by my BFF, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Chad.
Dude, we're coming on a little bit late because we were waiting on the end of that Broncos Giants game. Like, I don't think anybody wanted to win that game. I think they scored 46 points in the final quarter. Again, it just ended a second ago. Will Lutz kicked the field goal. The Broncos win 33-32. That game had everything of both teams going out of their way to make the biggest mistakes possible.
Yeah, just an insane game.
That's it. We're just sitting here. We were freaking out that whole time, and that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get over the comeback yet. I gotta let it sink in first.
Well, the comeback was insane. The Broncos were down 26-8, and then took the lead with like a minute left, and then the Giants took the lead with 30 seconds left, and then the Broncos just won the game. There, digest it while we go through the rest of the stuff. We can talk about it later. Listen, here's the good news. We avoided the Raiders as big dogs. We avoided the Jets as small dogs. Unfortunately, we could not break all of our bad habits. We did bite on the one big dog that we got way too enthusiastic about. Our record right now is 1-2. I feel lucky to be 1-2. We won with the Browns. We lost with those big dog Titans. We have the Lions minus 4.5 tomorrow night. We have the Texans plus 3.5 tomorrow night. Last one's out. We're the Cowboys. We're going to talk about that. The Saints, glad we avoided that. Minnesota, glad we avoided that. We're going to get to our early leans, a review of how we did on all of our picks. We're going to have your live comments later in the show. We're going to have our shame. We're going to have our hero of the week. At least we'll each have our hero of the week. Are you ready?
I'm ready, brother.
Miami at Cleveland. Cleveland minus 2.5. Simon, listen, we nearly talked ourselves out of a bet that we loved the entire week this morning. We nearly did that. We, honest to God, almost did that.
Yeah, honestly, not that I saw today coming, but I knew we were about to step in a couple of games, and I was worried this for sure was one of them. You said you feel lucky to be 1-2. I'm mad because it's like I didn't know what game to take out. You nailed your Browns pick, obviously Chad's choice. I should have took the Chargers out, forcing that Cowboys game, and that was a tough one where it's like kept trying to find a way to get that Cowboys game in because it was obviously a good number, but you nailed it with this one. Obviously, my fear came true, but it happened to Tua. Gabriel, I think, threw the ball, I don't know, 11 times, whatever it was. It's
dude
got really lucky where they just could run it. We didn't need the rookie throwing it, so that was the dream scenario for us. It was like, okay, we can run it, and our defense gets a bad Tua. That just like I said, you nailed it. That was what we talked about, and it literally I think he had 3 picks Tua and got benched in the third quarter or fourth quarter. So yeah, that was a dream scenario in that game.
It was Dylan Gabriel. The first Browns scoring drive was so gross. I have the betting fund that I do with all my buddies, right? And so, of course, I'll send them all the picks that I've made for us for the day on Sunday morning. And then at one point, we were texting about the Bears, of course, and someone asked me about the Browns, and I said, nobody watch it. Let me do the work here. It's my responsibility. It's too gross. Thank God there's that guy in the Dolphins, that nose tackle for the Dolphins, Zach Sealer, who every single game has some egregiously stupid, over aggressive penalty. I think he's done it 4 times this year. And today it was a WWE clothesline of Dylan Gabriel that was on 3rd and 6 and kept the Browns opening drive alive that got them the field goal. And for a minute, I thought all the Browns were going to need was that field goal because, like, the Dolphins couldn't do anything. And what I loved even more was Dylan Gabriel. He was basically just throwing with his eyes closed, like to the middle of the field, guy super covered. They're catching it through arms and legs and helmets. It was horrible. And I feel like we've now gotten lucky, not lucky, but we've chosen the Browns in the right spot at the right time. Game 1 against the Bengals, game 2 today against the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's people get annoyed by it, but we keep saying they're a different team at home. Their stats back it up, and the defense keeps proving it out. And their only real weakness in the entire game was Achane. I think he averaged 6 yards per carry, so he was doing what he should be doing. Tua, unbelievable how bad Tua is, and like you said, Gabriel could be the same exact spot that Tua was in. If you needed to throw in that game, you were down. It was such sloppy conditions. It was so bad. It was just a nightmare all over, and we didn't get bit by the turnover. I think it was on a kickoff. Miami guys carrying it gets hit right after, like you said, that Brown score, and they got the ball back and scored again. And like you said, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, that was the one good read we had this week, and that was Chad's read, Chad's choice.
It's 2 in a row for Chad's choice on good reads.
Let's go.
Mike McDaniel, by the way, before we leave this game, not that I'm not in a hurry to leave.
No, you want to stay here.
The one game I got right. But Mike McDaniel, he looks so sad in his rain slicker and his hoodie and his glasses. And at halftime, they interviewed him, and I felt like he could barely get the answers out. I don't know if he lasts through Tuesday.
Yeah, it
was bad. The team was unprepared. Like it looked bad.
Every week I feel like they're going to get rid of him. They don't. And, I talked about them as a last place team for the obvious reason of their schedule started out easy. And they're 1-6, and now it gets brutal. They got Atlanta, Baltimore, Buffalo, Washington before their bye week. So, can he get them 2 wins in that stretch? I don't think so. So it's like, why keep him? Why not fire him? Get it moving, get the process moving. But yeah, the owner, we should I feel like the Miami doesn't fire teams in season usually. So I'd be shocked if is it Stephen Ross, the owner? I'd be shocked if he steps up and fires this guy.
Only the Jets keeping the Dolphins from being the worst team in the NFL. New England at Tennessee. Tennessee, we had them at 7.5. It was our brass balls bet of the week. Honestly, I think this morning it was the only game we kind of didn't hesitate on when we were trying to figure out our final 5. Clearly, we should have. I feel like we can trace our mistake back to, I think, on Tuesday, because I think on Sunday night, we were all in on the Patriots. Like, it was 6.5. We loved Vrabel going back. We hated the Titans. There was no way we were betting the Titans. Like, we were 100% betting the Patriots in this game. Brian Callahan gets fired, and I think we got over our skis and got too excited. I think we fell into bad habits and convinced ourselves that the dead cat bounce was more powerful than just a well-coached team and a quarterback who's so freaking hot right now.
Yeah, and this is also just life betting bad teams. It was a 13-10 game. Tennessee, because they are poorly coached and it's Cam Ward, they could have chewed up the final 2 minutes, maybe got a touchdown. Instead, they get a field goal. Drake goes right down the field. Incredible throw. Respect to him. Throws a touchdown. Even that, we're down 17-13.5. Even that, I'm still like, okay, we're moving the ball. We're in this game. But like we always say with these bad teams, you need to avoid the huge mistakes. You need the luck to bounce your way. And the luck to that point felt like it was our way other than that 2-minute touchdown. The opening drive for the Patriots. Drake Maye gets concussed,
Yeah.
and they bring in the backup. And on a 3rd and 6, on a clear blitzer, Dobbins dodges this blitzer. The Pastronaut comes in cold, slips out of a sack on a free blitzer, completes the 3rd and 6 for like 15 yards for a first down. And even then, we're still not dead yet. Again, it's 17-13. Drake Maye comes back in, all concussed up. He's not on target still. He throws it behind his receiver on a 4th and 1. This guy, one hand's insane stretch, catches it to himself. I don't know about you. At that moment, I was like, oh, we're dead. There is no way we're getting out of this.
That's when I stopped taking notes on this game.
Yes.
I literally wrote, this was our shot.
Yeah.
We didn't stop Dobbs. We didn't stop Dobbs. That was how we were going to get a chance with the 3 plays that Drake Maye was out because he was so on fire. Like he's throwing these deep balls like they're 5-yard shallow crosses, and it's so accurate and they're so easy. However, so it was, I think.
So at this point, it's 24-13.
24-13.
Cam Ward play.
And then Cam Ward, I actually tried to get, for about 20 minutes, I tried to get ChatGPT to do something for me. I'm going to explain it. I feel like, the Heimlich maneuver posters where they're like illustrations of how to perform the Heimlich maneuver if somebody is choking, and they're universal. They're in every restaurant around the world, right? I feel like the universal symbol for when your team is just wholly incompetent and it is not going to go anywhere and it is low as it's possibly going to get is a quarterback who is untouched, unbothered in dry weather, and the ball slips out of his hand and goes backwards. That to me, and I tried to get ChatGPT, I actually wrote, give me a poster that mimics the Heimlich maneuver, only it's a picture of Cam Ward losing the ball on the 5-yard line with the ball going behind his head. And it took me literally maybe 5 tries before I actually got the poster that I wanted it to be. But it wasn't quite good enough that I wanted to post it. But dude, after that, it's 31-13, and that's the ball game, and that's exactly what happens to bad teams, and that's what happens when you bet bad teams.
Yeah, New England didn't need to try anymore. Like I said, they got that opening touchdown. That was the next series that Cam Ward got the ball back.
Yeah.
So they get 14 points like that. Like you said, it's 31-13.
In 30
they didn't need
seconds.
to show a single play the rest of the game. Drake Maye I think they probably told him, hey, you have the record right now for completion percentage. Don't even pass the ball. We can just run the ball now for the rest of the game. And I think he finished 19 of 21 and broke a record set by Tom Brady of was it 90% completion percentage? So
something like that.
Pretty incredible. Like you said, Drake Maye playing out of his mind right now. That was a horrible spot. And, Tennessee, not that they gave it away, but they did. They're just a bad team, like we keep saying. And you're right. If they hadn't fired their head coach, we'd be sitting here very happy with our -7.5 on that Patriots team. But yeah, got suckered in on the hook. Took just a dead cat. There was no bounce. That cat.
There's no bounce.
Dead.
Just
no.
a dead cat lying on the side of the road. It's just sad. It's so sad. I will say, we didn't respect Mike Vrabel. We didn't respect Drake Maye. We didn't respect Christian Gonzalez, who the announcers at the end of the game were like, we haven't even mentioned his name. And then the analyst said, yeah, because they won't throw his way. He completely just shut down half the field. So we're going to have to start thinking about that a little bit more. Cam Ward, first player to lose 5 fumbles in his first 5 games since, do you know who? I'm going to talk about him next.
Oh, Justin Fields?
Daniel Jones.
Oh, wow. It's good company.
By the way, we're going to do a shame later in the show. I feel like the shame should be us, because we had Indy at the Chargers -1.5. This was the backup, Simon says, to the Eagles and the Vikings. And I feel like this morning we almost walked away from this. We almost walked away from it. And I went back through my notes and I was trying to figure out why did we do it. You felt great about it. I started to come around because the number was moving our direction and the Colts were such a public dog. There had to be regression. And yet, the Chargers just got worse. Like, so bad it felt like they had kind of given up. They could never stop anybody. They lost on their second play of the game. They lost another offensive lineman. This was another one where note taking was sparse because it was a dead bet halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, and I try to get out of it too. Honestly, I said to you, I thought Colts would be a public dog, and it was 80%, 88% of the money was on the Chargers. And I said it to you, and I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I did not think this would be the more public side. But like I said, the public did have a good day overall. Like the Bears came through, Dallas came through. Our Browns bet, very public, came through.
Yeah.
The Patriots came through. The Chiefs won by a ton. The Eagles
31.
won. So they just, unfortunate we didn't jump on the right public bets. But yeah, I told you my only regret was like I should have talked myself out of it and put in Dallas on this one. And as good as Herbert's stats look in this game, he burned us. He burned us in this game. Like
oh my God, he was terrible.
He was terrible. Like his picks in that second quarter, the batted ball, can't get mad at him about that one as much, but the red zone pick is just a killer, especially when Daniel Jones didn't have an incredible game, like 23 of 34. But when Taylor is having an incredible game, Jonathan Taylor, and he's getting, whatever, he had 3 touchdowns, it's a tall task. So Minter, maybe I need to readjust on this Chargers team. That defense last year, that stole them a lot of games, and they were really dominant. Whatever his adjustments were, or coming into this year from his defense from the previous year, the book is clearly out. Like this Chargers defense is just not what they were last season, and massive win for this Colts team. That was historically a bad spot, usually a spot where the teams have a letdown. And start the game, I think it was a 4th and 2 on their own 38 or 39. They went for it. They got it. 4th and 1 at the 55 or the 44 of the Chargers. They got it. And then they're down the red zone and they went for it. So they had 3 straight 4th downs. Yeah. They went for it on that second drive and they scored. And they're up 13-0. And like we said, the turnovers came for Herbert. Daniel Jones never put them in a position to lose that game. So yeah, that's this Colts team. Even missing pieces defensively, they're just a juggernaut right now on offense. And yeah, it's incredible. Like the Daniel Jones thing, it is bizarre world. He just always seems like he makes the right decision. He's so comfortable in this offense. So yeah, this Colts team's tough.
By the time there were 9 minutes left in the second quarter, the Colts were up 20-3. They had the ball for, 13 of the 21 minutes that had been played, and had gained more than 200 yards, about 215 yards. The Chargers had 44 yards at that point. And I want to feel bad for Justin Herbert. Like every game you watch him and people are in his grill the entire time. He has no time to throw. That Grover Stewart, the big man interception that happened, it's because Grover Stewart got to him, batted the ball in the air. Someone else tackled Justin Herbert while the ball was in the air, and then Grover Stewart had an unfettered opportunity to intercept the ball. That's every game, every play for this guy. Like it's so frustrating to watch him because you see him make these insane plays, and you gotta wonder how good could he be if he actually had a good offensive line. Forget the stats. Like they were, so excited about him throwing for 400 yards in the game. And obviously he threw for 400 yards because they've been down by 3 touchdowns the whole game. So there were other things about this game that I'm like, this isn't even a Jim Harbaugh coach team. They gave up so many big plays and were so sort of effortless, right? They finally scored a touchdown. I think they made it 31-10 or something like that. And the very next kickoff, the Colts run it back to like the 20-yard line. Just like, I was betting on Harbaugh. I know you were too. What do we think of Harbaugh right now?
I don't know much to put on him. Like you said, a lot of with the offensive line. I mean, you said you wish you could see what he looked like with a healthy offensive line. You saw it last year. I mean, is the fear is that his ceiling? That's my pushback against everything. I think he's so great. It's like, is his ceiling second in the division and throwing 4 picks in the first round of the playoffs and losing to Houston? Like, because he had all of his pieces last year. His receivers healthy. His offensive line was healthy last year. And I'm with you. Like the Herbert stuff, he's always had these moments. Like you said, he threw for 420. Obviously, he's got a ton of talent. No one's doubting that. It's just like he said, he killed us in that first half of the game where Daniel Jones didn't. And it wasn't like he was under pressure. He had guys in his face. He just made the right decisions, the right reads, where Herbert wasn't for the most part. So, yeah, they're in a bad spot. Like I think their backup right tackle went down in the game. They might have had another guard go down in the game, and it's like Joel hopefully back next week for them. They just it's rock bottom for this team right now. It's really bad.
Well, look, they play on Thursday night, so
That's tough.
It's really going to be hard for them. Think about this legacy. Is Justin Herbert just destined to be in the Chargers tree of great quarterbacks who throw for a lot of yards and never get beyond a championship game, a la Dan Fouts, a la Phillip Rivers? Is Stan Humphries going to go down as the greatest winner in the history of the Chargers football franchise?
I mean, Rivers, back in the day, I really had a grudge against him because I loved the Chargers. Because I think anyone that was my age, especially in the fantasy football, LaDainian Thompson and Antonio Gates were incredible. And they had a year with Sean Merriman was like the best DN in all of football. And it just never went past the first or second round of the playoffs, Phillip Rivers. So I hope you're wrong. Like I said, who doesn't want Herbert to do well and this team to do well? But yeah, this just feels as bad as it can possibly get. 4 straight ATS losses. They're just falling behind now in this division. The positives for them, like we said, getting guys back. We know you obviously have the talent. You're 4-3 right now. The schedule breaks in a way. If they do get healthy, like you said, this is kind of tough. They got Minnesota on a short week at home. But then they have at Tennessee, then Pittsburgh, then Jacksonville, then their bye week. Just if they can just get 3-1 here, they could still be in it. But if they falter here, their second half schedule is very tough. So they do need to string some wins here. They're just sliding right now since that Giants lost. 1-3 since that Giants game.
All right, we're going to take a quick word from Hard Rock. Don't forget, put your questions in the chat. We're going to get to them after we talk about a few more games. Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Week 7 caps off with another doubleheader. Tampa Bay versus Detroit, Houston versus Seattle. Listen to these streaks from Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. You can find live odds to bet on all of these streaks in the Hard Rock Bet app. The Texans have lost 20 in a row as road underdogs against the NFC. The Lions have covered the spread in 11 straight games as a favorite following a loss. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet, and if it hits, you get not only your winnings, but $150 in extra bonus bets. There's new promos every day, so if you're listening to this later, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Okay, a lot of good questions right now. What I'm loving mostly is people asking which teams we can officially ban. So if you have thoughts on other teams you'd like us to ban from betting again this season, just pile them on because we're making a list. All right. New Orleans at Chicago. Listen, I didn't bet this game at all. I said this morning, to me, this game was about, can the Bears be the kind of team that comes back from a stirring victory in a short week and doesn't get caught napping against a scrappy and competitive team. And for the most part, they did that. It was shaky. There's no doubt about it. It was very shaky. Like, they were dominating, and then they let the Saints crawl back with touchdowns at the end of the first half, beginning of the second half. And then the Saints they kept it close. They kept it close. The Bears would kicked a field goal, and the Saints kept driving. I was worried that I was going to feel like an idiot that I was so adamant we not put this in the contest, because you mentioned it this morning. I'm like, I knew you were going to bring this up, and I can't do it. Bear down. Chicago Bears have won 4 games in a row. I don't know how they're doing it. When I watch them, they make me sick, but I'll take it.
They have a really good head coach who has, like I told you, one of the best run blocking schemes in all football that he brought with him from Detroit. And
yes,
he keeps surviving games that, like we said, old Bears teams wouldn't. This game, I just didn't like the fact that the Bears were catching so many points when we knew the weather was going to be bad. And I still believe it even after this game. I don't trust Caleb Williams in bad weather. I don't think he handles the elements well at all. And in this game, he didn't play well. Like, he was the reason the Saints were in it. 15 completions, 172 yards and a pick. That's not going to win you games. But then you look and see how they did win. Swift, 124 on the ground, touchdown, averaging 6 yards per carry. Your backups in there averaging 6 yards per carry. Just, this is what you want to. The new NFL is what you want to win with, is the run game and the defense. And you guys have it in spades right now. Your defense stepped up. Rattler had what, 3 picks, 2 picks, 3 picks. A guy who had 1 pick coming into the game. He only had 1 interception coming to the game. And a fumble. So 3 picks and a fumble. So just a huge win for the Bears. Not an ideal spot for them, like you said. They're coming off 2 huge wins they kind of stole. Then they blow a team out now. This is a big deal. This is like a really feel-good team. And, in this division, who's to say Green Bay is better than the Bears right now? I wouldn't say that. So I'd be feeling pretty good as a Bears team. There's a path to being a wild card. And you haven't had that in a couple of years, brother. So I'd be feeling pretty good about this year 1 of the Ben Johnson experience. It's like whatever they paid him. I know people were like arguing he's going to be the highest paid coach. He hasn't done anything to earn that. This is why. It's like, you are paying for these games like this.
Oh, he's earned it, brother. Listen, you're not dealing with a highly functioning franchise in terms of the executive ranks or ownership, and you're definitely not dealing with a fan base that isn't that is at all reasonable, rational, or on the edge at all times. I'm sick to my stomach watching this team. I'm sick to my stomach. I know Caleb isn't turning the ball over, but I'm really sick to my stomach watching him scramble. I feel like every time it's just catastrophe waiting to happen. But wow, Ben Johnson loves to run the ball. And I feel like that kind of gets forgotten a little bit because the Lions scored so many points. You would forget that they were scoring so many points by running the ball. And what he's done with this run scheme for the Bears and made their offensive line, which credit to the Bears, as much as I ripped their front office, they did a great job rebuilding that offensive line and investing in the
Tunney's an all-pro.
Oh, he's going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, he's still playing all-pro level for you guys this year.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good he is in that middle block.
He's fantastic. Darnell Wright has been playing great. Drew Dahlman has been playing great. Like, they've solidified the most important part of their team. And, Swift has been what he used to be, a guy who got 3 yards and then fell. And now he's getting 15 yards and running through tackles. So
he used to be a guy that Ben Johnson got rid of in Detroit.
That's right.
So, like, that's why, again, I'd be so excited if I'm a Bears fan, because this is not his team. Like, he's going to just through these drafts, after the front office will realize let this guy pick his guys in the offense. We're running his scheme. All right, your GM, just because he wants to act like he earns the check, let him run the defense. You got to let Ben go get his guys. Because, like I said, Swift, you're saying how great he looks in this offense. Come on. We know Swift is good, but, let him go get his guy in the draft, his running back. And, yeah, I'm just, like I said, Bears, it ain't going to be pretty this year. But, man, you guys keep winning ugly games, and that's the sign of a really good team.
Speaking of winning today, the Philadelphia Eagles had their best game in a year, and other than the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts had his best game in a year, and certainly their best game this season. They beat the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Minnesota was plus 2.5. I mean, I'm glad we talked ourselves out of it when this morning. We really talked ourselves out of it because we knew Quinyon Mitchell was playing. That's not why the Eagles won this game, dude. How did you feel as a fan watching the Eagles do what they did today?
No, we did get burned by Jalen Carter, though. That pick six, that was Jalen Carter. He put a guy in Wentz's lap, and that was the difference. I mean, obviously the drop touchdown, anyone out there that bet it with me, that hurts. Like when they get the touchdown in the back of the end zone, then they replay with a magnifying glass. Like, well, the ball did move. Yeah. That's not a touchdown. It's like, well, damn it. I guess you're right. It's not. No cover.
That was the cover. That's how we were getting it.
Yeah, it was right there. So the pick six, like we always said, anytime you have that with a dog, you're always pretty much dead. But the Eagles let us hang around. There's still just something wrong with that team. And like you said, that I guess could be the best game Hurts had this year. I still think that Rams game was even more impressive just because they were dead as dead. The defense knew he had to throw for 3 quarters. And Hurts still somehow did it against as we're seeing a pretty good Rams team. This Vikings team, shocking how this game went. They're number 2 against the pass in football. So their strength is the pass. Their weakness is the run. Barkley is just non-existent. He had 18 carries for 45 yards. I mean, it's crazy. So Hurts, like the first time in his career that I can remember, he had negative 10 rushing yards. I don't think he's ever had negative 10 rushing yards or under a rushing yard in a game, and then threw for 326 yards and 3 touchdowns. So just not the way we want to win. As an Eagles fan, that's my biggest takeaway. It's fun. I'm happy because it shuts up the idiots for a day that Hurts is a bad quarterback and he can't throw the ball. But this is not how the Eagles want to win. We need to figure out this run blocking scheme. Our offensive line still has major issues. And, it's a good win. I'll give them that. But another game, it feels like they stole one. Like that, they got issues, man. That Carson Wentz was terribly sloppy, really bad. And they, like we said, had a chance to win that game at the very end. But, Devontae Smith, career high. Give him some props. Devontae Smith, 183 yards receiving, most in his career ever in a game. So, really impressive game by Hurts. But still, as an Eagles fan, major issue still in this Eagles team.
Perfect QB rating. First 4 incompletions, 3 touchdown passes, and the first time in more than a year he's thrown for more than 300 yards. But you're totally right. The Eagles still probably should have lost that game. The Vikings were 5 of 6 for field goals versus touchdowns in the red zone today. So they got into the red zone 6 times, kicked 5 field goals, had 1 touchdown.
Yeah, Wentz was terrible.
Because Carson Wentz in the red zone had 2 terrible sacks on separate drives, and on another drive had an intentional grounding where he just tossed the ball underhanded, under pressure to nobody that knocked him back from the 9 on I think, 2nd and goal to the 19 for a 3rd and goal. It was terrible. He kept us in the game with the legs, but frustrating game to watch if you had the Vikings.
Yeah, brutal no cover, and Simon says just in the toilet right now.
Washington at Dallas, 2.5. Look, it was the right conversation for us. We just had a debate about the wrong team. We were debating the Browns and the Cowboys, and we probably should have been debating the Cowboys and the Chargers and the Cowboys and the Titans. And Dak, once again, brilliant. And George Pickens. Amazing. At one point, George Pickens had a pass that when he was leaning left, the pass went over his right shoulder toward the sideline. He was able to corral it. And as he was in the air, his whole body went limp. Like you could literally see his legs just sort of get rubbery. And so he could drop and get his knees on the ground before he went out of bounds. He's playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, and another game where, whatever weaknesses that Cowboys defense has, it's just a juggernaut, like you said, offensively. CD Lamb coming back now into an offense that didn't miss a beat without him. Like Pickens, Ferguson, the tight end. He's probably the number one tight end in football right now, Ferguson. And another game where, didn't have many yards, but he had two big touchdowns. They're just really in sync. Dak is just playing out of this world. And there's a reason, even when he had a losing record, people are saying he should be the MVP conversation. It's fair. Like, I know he won't win it if he goes 8-9, 9-8, and Mahomes does what Mahomes does, which is what he's doing this year. Mahomes is going to win it. But if Mahomes wins his division, has a better record, he'll win it. But it's a fair debate right now. Like, between him and Baker and Mahomes, you take any of them off their teams, they're all in the dumps. So
do not forget Drake Maye.
Drake Maye for MVP?
Yeah.
All right.
And DeAndre Swift.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't believe it. Like, as the only guy here that thought Dak was worthy of being in their top 10, I feel pretty good about my preseason love for Dak. Because like I said, we all left him for dead. Everyone left Dak for dead. And just because he did look bad last year. Remember those first 4 or 5 games before he got hurt? He did look bad. I got why people are so off of him. But this is Dak playing at the highest level right now. And it's interesting. Schottenheimer, a lot of shit in the summer. Offense,
very impressive.
Yeah, offense is not the problem right now, clearly. Like you said, Eberflus and that defense, that still might be the Achilles heel.
Listen, all credit to Brian Schottenheimer. Like, no one gave him any chance to be a good coach. He got laughed at the entire offseason.
Remember how mad you were at me because I spent 5 minutes talking about him in the summer?
I don't remember anything.
You raged about it. You said, why did you waste 5 minutes? We should have just been talking about Vrabel, which is fair by you. I should have spent 5 minutes more talking about Vrabel. But yeah, I just said everyone left this guy for dead. He might be a good coach.
Hey, to my credit, I didn't leave Dak for dead because to leave someone for dead, you have to remember they're in the league. And I had just completely forgotten until you said Dak. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that guy, that guy. And he's doing all right. Simon. So look, we're 1-2. It has been a crazy, crazy end to a bunch of these games. The Packers and the Cardinals. The Packers do not look very good right now. This is now 4 weeks in a row where they have not looked good, including coming out of a 10-day rest. You could argue that Jacoby Brissett should be the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals and not Kyler Murray because he's made them significantly more competitive in much more difficult spots. The Denver Broncos won a miraculous game. The Kansas City Chiefs won by 31 points. The New York Jets lost at home as 1.5 point underdogs to the Carolina Panthers by a touchdown. Carolina Panthers.
They've became a favorite, the Jets, before kickoff. So think about those pros hammering that with that big money. And, Bryce Young didn't finish the game, unfortunately. I think he got knocked out as Andy Dalton had to finish it, and they just did nothing in that second half. But coming to the game, Bryce Young, Panthers, they're 1-15 on the road. Huge win. First one as a favorite in like 5 years. So, I know. Our kids are growing up right in front of our eyes, our Carolina Panthers.
They really are. Dave Canales, good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Good for him. Let's do shame and heroes, and then I want to get to some reader comments because they're really fun. I was going to give my shame to Cam Ward because he has now become the poster child for incompetence.
Yeah.
But I think for the second week in a row, I'm giving it to the Chargers. So shame on us for continuing to invest in the Chargers, and shame on the Chargers for basically giving up. Like, anytime they got close in that game, they found a way to give it back to the Indianapolis Colts, whether it was they drove down the field and finally had success. And then Justin Herbert throws the red zone interception in the end zone, or when they finally score a touchdown and it looks like they might be able to make a play, and then they give up the long kick return to the Indianapolis Colts. Their defense on multiple third downs. There was a third down where they had 3rd and 17, and they gave up a 40-yard dime to Alec Pierce because Daniel Jones found him wide open, streaking towards the sideline. Like, the defense is pathetic. The coaching was pathetic. The play was pathetic. This team, shame on them. Shame on them for wasting our time today.
I'm going to go off the books. I won't be too mad at my own picks because I made those picks and they were all terrible today. Just awful betting wise. A team I did love that you were on the other side. We didn't really fight about it or talk about it much. This Giants team, how do you lose that game? Shame on the Giants. It was basically 19-0 with the start of the fourth quarter. They scored. Denver scores to get the 2-pointer. All right. It's 19-8. Dart gets the ball back. On a 3rd and 17 from Denver's 41, he throws a pass that bounces off his own guy's hands into the hands of Theo Johnson, who takes it for a 41-yard touchdown. Again, a deflected ball for the Giants. So now the Giants are up 26-8 with 10-14 left in the fourth quarter. Chad, would you believe it if I told you they lost that game to that Denver team with Bo Nix? So just a shame on the Giants. That felt like the type of game for your season, right? You could either go to 3-4 if you're the Giants. Huge wins, 2 huge wins in a row. They lose it. Now 2-5. It just, we'll see what the head coach can do and try to hold it together. But man, that is a disaster loss and huge win for Denver that stole one there at the end. Now 5-2.
How they stole it, I'll have no idea, because they had multiple chances on the last drive to stop the Giants before they scored what looked like could potentially be the game-winning touchdown. They had 2 interceptions where players collided with each other that could have ended the drive. And then, of course, they got called for a pass interference in the end zone on a 3rd and 19 that Sean Payton was so mad about. He got called for a personal foul because he ran out of the field and was yelling at the refs, literally in front of the end zone, in the middle of the field where the 2-yard line is. Apoplectic. The fact they came back and won that game on 2, just one miracle pass, one great pass by Bo Nix. Good for the Broncos. Who is your hero of the week?
I have to go with Chad and the Browns. That was our hero call of the week. You stuck with it, like you said. Wasn't feeling great about it this morning. Worried about the weather. You were on it all week. Hung in there. Gave it to us. We still have never gone 0-5. And thanks to Chad, we will not be going 0-5 this week. Got our 1 win, 1-2. Going to sweep Monday night to be 3-2.
Dude, we can still be 3-2. The haircut,
I'm not worried yet.
The lack of a haircut is still in play. It's completely still in play.
I was like, maybe I'll go get a cut tomorrow. I was like, no, you can't do anything. Got to wait.
I was thinking today, I'm not going to know how we did until Tuesday morning because I won't be awake at the end of the Texans.
I don't know how you're going to sleep and don't just open one eye and check your phone at midnight or 1 a.m.
Oh, no. I might go to bed at 9. I'll take a melatonin, start reading, and ignore everything just so I'm not even close to being anxious. I'll probably have to get up at pee at 2, so maybe I'll check then, but I'm hoping not to. My hero of the week is also Cleveland, specifically the Cleveland defense, just to be more on point about how bad Dylan Gabriel was and this offense was. The Browns had fewer total yards, fewer total plays. They only had 116 passing yards total. They averaged barely more than 3 yards per carry and went 4 of 11 on third downs. Yet this game was never a sweat thanks to all the forced turnovers, including 3 picks by Tua, including a pick 6 to start the second half, and then another pick when Tua was throwing from deep in his end zone that the Browns returned to about the 2 and then scored a touchdown right after. We should be heroes of the week for pulling the trigger on this game. All right, before we get to the leans and comments, Simon says was Minnesota plus 2.5. Chad's choice was Cleveland minus 2.5. Brass balls was Tennessee plus 7. Rocking a hard place was Dallas plus 2.5. So good for us. Sharper square, we're committed to tomorrow night. I got Houston plus 3. You got Detroit minus 5.5. Our favorites parlay. You had the Chiefs minus 5.5 in there. We also had Green Bay, Chicago, Denver, the Chargers, Pats, and Detroit. So still some options alive here, right? Underdog parlay, Vikings no, Cowboys yes, Jets no, Falcons, Texans tomorrow. Survivor was Chief. All right. A lot of our viewers are asking us to please blacklist the Chargers and blacklist the Titans.
I agree with the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can just every week we'll spend a minute on their game, hopefully.
Maybe I'll just start skipping it.
Or just again, every week these guys are my DMs. We could start fading the Titans. It's a cash cow. Don't matter who the coach is, apparently.
Honest to God,
it's a cash cow.
We could just start fading them. That's honestly the play. What are our leans for next week? Right now,
try to be quick just because we're running a little late. Just some numbers that jumped out. Saints, they're plus 6.5 at home against the Bucks. Again, you don't have to grab it if you don't want to so early. I could probably see it going up. It's just going to be only professionals grabbing the Saints at this point, but I like that number. It's across the kingdom over 6, so I am grabbing it. Ravens minus 6.5 at home against the Bears.
Yeah,
interesting spot. It's a Bears team that can't stop the run going against, with Lamar back, the best running attack in football, most likely, with Derrick Henry. So, interesting spot. Bad spot for the Bears. Feel like we can't overthink it. Probably should just take the Ravens here. This is a Ravens line. It's interesting they opened it so high.
I'm really surprised they opened it that high. Because when I saw it, I felt like, that's the kind of line you post when Lamar Jackson has been playing great. And
they're cruising,
and they're 4-2 coming off a bye.
We got a Tomlin spot. Pittsburgh +3 at home against Green Bay.
Oh goodness, we got to do that.
So very interesting to open that +3 because I know right away we're going to grab that. And last one, I just can't believe this line. Eagles are -7 against the Giants at home. It's the Giants team that beat them up not even 2 weeks ago. Interesting. Just because the Eagles' offensive line is not going to be healthy, and that was a brutal loss for the Giants. So the books are kind of showing their hand here, saying that this Giants team, they don't think they're going to react well to that loss. I thought that was interesting. So not going to grab the Eagles yet, but if it gets up to -7.5, I'll be mad that I'm kicking myself that I missed the -7. But definitely like the Eagles in the spot. The line looks like it's inflated, but I think that's correctly priced for this Eagles team against the Giants.
One of the games that popped to me that I tried to bet and it was taken off the board for a minute was the Kansas City Chiefs 5.5 against the Commanders, because it was 4.5. I just thought, is Jayden Daniels going to be playing?
Yeah.
So it felt to me like that could be a potential spot there.
I like it. I saw that getting taken down too, and that's why I just didn't say anything. If he is down, this is going to open up way above 7. Yeah. Mariota versus Bags defense, not ideal for that Washington team.
Yeah. What do we think of Cleveland and New England?
I don't want to get in front of New England, be honest, but we'll see what they say about Drake Maye this week with practice. I know he obviously doesn't have a concussion. He got cleared, but we'll see. Sometimes the symptoms pop back up because he got slammed. Like, his head slammed on the field really hard. But that's a Patriots line, -6.5. A couple books right at -115, -120 on the 6.5 at home against the Browns. And Chad knows I don't bet Browns on the road. Their defense has not traveled yet this season. So that's a nice spot for the Patriots.
I'm very, 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 very tempted by Denver -3 at home against Dallas.
Yeah, man. And it's already at the -120. So you're on the professional side. The pros are coming in early on Denver. That's probably right. I can't do it yet, man. My God, Bo Nix. I can't trust him.
I know. It's awful.
It's awful.
It truly is. All right. Real quickly, the Falcons and Niners have kicked off. I believe they've kicked off.
Yeah. 49ers have the ball at midfield.
In the end, I feel like we were kind of split on this. I was leaning Niners and you were leaning Falcons.
Yeah, and I bet Falcons just because the Fred Taylor experiment, can't trust it. But I honestly just after today, I'm glad we didn't take this one. I have no real read on it either. 49ers, like we've seen before, when you count them out, you don't believe in them. That's usually where Shanahan shows
Yeah.
up and dominates these games. So yeah, if you like Atlanta, they're plus 3.5 right now.
All right. Reminder that we have the Texans plus 3.5 and the Lions minus 4.5 tomorrow night. Those are the last two games of our final five. We are 1-2 so far on the day. We won with the Browns minus 2.5, lost with the Titans, and lost with the Chargers. This has been Sharper Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back with our next Sharper Square on Tuesday to go over the entire NFL slate. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharper Square. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Also download from Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe. Leave us 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Until next time, love you.